Welcome to Bed Crime Stories podcast. I'm your host, T, and if you like all things true crime and you don't want drama, but you prefer facts with a little speculation, you're in the right place. Please, after listening to or watching this video, if you find you enjoyed it or learned something, do a girl a solid and smash that like button. And now, without further ado, let's dig in. I don't know if you guys have heard of Ken Mains of the YouTube channel Unsolved No More. He's the real deal. He is a detective. And in a recent video, he said that Sebastian Rogers' stepfather and his mother, biological mother, Katie Proudfoot, reached out to him. They were asking for help searching for Sebastian. I don't know about you, but I found this news rather stunning. To think that Chris Proudfoot would proactively reach out to a detective for help. All I can say is wow. Just wow. So Ken Mains said that Katie sounded depressed, and what she said to him was, "I just want my son back." So Ken Mains spoke to both Chris and Katie, and he said that when he gets involved in a case, he doesn't like to watch all the 48-hour shows or anything else because he doesn't want to come into the case biased. He really wants to have fresh eyes when he looks at a case. So he said he did do some sort of searching online, and he was absolutely sickened by what he saw. He feels that there are way too many people weighing in on the case, and it's not just YouTubers or TikTokers or people on Twitter. It's also established big-time true crime channels. His advice to Katie and Chris was to have just one entity working on the search. Hire a detective. Have that one person do the searches, do the investigating. My first thoughts about that is that I don't think that Katie and Chris can control this because, of course, there's also Sebastian's biological father, Seth Rogers, and these two camps are very divided. Ken Mains was also disgusted with all the online fighting among people about the case, fighting between the two camps, Seth Rogers and the Proudfoots. Listen to what Mains said about doing a proper investigation.
It makes it so much harder, not only on investigators, but family members, that are involved. They have to totally shut off what's going on social media, I believe, in order to have some sanity about them. That's why I took social media off of my phone, and I have it because it is beneficial for me when I receive information. People look it up, send me stuff. There are benefits to it if used properly, and I'm not going to get into the whole social media etiquette. And if it's for you, it's for you. I don't care. I just don't like that a true case or a true crime case, especially with a missing person, is being hashed out between two sides online and fighting. It's the norm now. I understand that. I will never, ever be a part of that. For me, and this is just my humble opinion, to do a proper investigation, you need to annex yourself completely away from that. Put blinders on from the noise and stay focused at the task, and that's finding the child. Now, the reality of things to me is that more than likely that child is dead. Now, if the parents are watching this, that's a hard realization, and I'm sorry that I have to say that. That's just my opinion based on statistics. There is still hope. Hope can be a beautiful thing. Okay? But that's where the focus has to be. It can't be on injunctions. It can't be on lawsuits. That's ludicrous.
So it's very interesting that Ken Mains is also sort of critiquing the Proudfoots for getting these injunctions. Mains does not mince words. It's also devastating to hear him put into words what I think a lot of us have been thinking, and that is that it's likely Sebastian is no longer with us. Ken Mains told the Proudfoots that he would help them. He said he did this because he heard sadness and depression coming across through the phone from Katie. But he also said, just because I hear sadness and depression doesn't mean that they, the Proudfoots, are not involved. As I said, Ken Mains doesn't mince words. He also said that Katie could be sad not because of the situation, meaning that Sebastian is missing. It could be remorse. But he also emphasized that he's not saying Katie is guilty. He's just saying you can't make a snap judgment based on somebody's voice. He said the only thing he can take from Katie's sadness and what sounds like depression is that she is grieving. Ken said he couldn't get a real good feeling about Chris Proudfoot, but you have to give him some kudos because he did reach out for Ken's help. Ken said if he got involved in the case, he would come to Tennessee, he would come to their house, he would take videos of everything there, everything in the house, the layout of the house.
Necessarily for right now. It's for down the road. If, God forbid, the case doesn't get solved, which a lot of missing persons doesn't. You have that for future reference, so you can look at after the house is changed, demolished, renovated, whatever it is. Get a statement, okay? And I did that. Tell me right now in this phone call what happened that night the last time you saw Sebastian. And the mother had told me, stuff about him going up to bed, her hearing a loud bang up in his room, but then she asked him if he was okay. He said yes. And I made sure to annotate that because you don't want to rely on your memory, 6 months down the road when the child's found and all of a sudden you have to remember, okay, whoa. She went down to the police station and now she's giving this account. Wait, she told me this. Didn't she? Well, I have it annotated. So that way I know. And if law enforcement ever came forward and say, hey, what did they tell you? This is what I would say. And it's not for publicity. It's for the case. It's for the family. And it's for Sebastian. That's how it has to be done. You have to have one alpha dog in charge that takes charge. Hey, this is the way things are going to be. This is how we're going to run things. X, Y, and Z. And if you don't follow under that, take a hike.
What's kind of sad about all this is that toward the end of the video that Ken Mains made, he said, am I going to get involved in this case? Well, it's not looking like that because other cases have come in that I'm working on. So it sounds like the Proudfoots reached out to Ken Mains not recently, but a couple of months ago. And the new cases are pain cases. He said he was going to do the Sebastian Rogers case pro bono, meaning he wasn't going to charge for that. He did, however, say that would he help? Yes, he will if they reach out, but he probably won't be traveling to Tennessee anytime soon. Mains really felt that people have lost sight of Sebastian, the one who's missing, and they've been wasting time on injunctions, on digging up information about past bankruptcies, things that aren't relevant to the case. Katie and Chris told Ken about the friction they're experiencing with the biological father, Seth Rogers, and Mains said that that's not unusual in cases like this, but that the two sides need to come together. The two sides need to have the same priority, and that is finding Sebastian. Ken Maines repeated that he thinks the first thing you need to do, first and foremost, is look inside that house, the Proudfoot house. That's where the child was last seen, obviously. He also said you have to look at Sebastian's proclivities. What did he like to do? What was he scared of? Was he scared of the dark? He said take a lot of time to understand the victimology, the victim, and then work your way out, moving toward the neighbors. Ken said if and when he went to Tennessee, interviewing the neighbors would be one of the first things he did. But you're not asking the neighbors, did you see anything? Did you hear anything? You should interview the neighbors to find out what they know about the people inside of the Proudfoot home. Do you know them? Have you observed them? He said what you want to know is what's going on inside that house first and foremost. He said the hard part is taking the totality of all of that and putting it together. I'm wondering if the Proudfoots did not get back to Maines and did not insist on having him be involved, especially since he said he was willing, because they knew that he was going to be looking inside that house and looking at them. I'll leave you to ponder that, and I will see you next time on Bed Crime Stories.